Everyone, hope everything is going well. Uh, Charlie Kirk, unfortunately, was assassinated a couple days ago, and I know it's not regarding sports cards, but I will tie it into it and the collectibles hobby. I did have the opportunity to watch him speak in front of you. There were people younger than me. They were college age students, but this is in 2018. He was supposed to be there with Candace Owens. That's why I actually showed up, just to see Candace Owens. Wanted to hear her thoughts and her perspectives. She was just new at the time, and that's why I went. So I told my buddy, "Hey, let's go there." They canceled the event at DePaul at I think the Fullerton campus, and then they moved it to downtown Chicago at the Marriott. And I didn't agree with everything that he said, his delivery and all of that. I may agree with him on, the debt's out of control and the Federal Reserve's printing money. That's bad. And, how the government subsidizes all these markets, creating all this inflation, so everything's expensive for people. So yeah, in that regards, I do agree with him on. Um, Now I knew he would be big, and I also told my buddy, "Hey, look, what if someone does something psycho at one of his events?" And we unfortunately saw that the other day. And I do believe that the guy they caught is a patsy, but I don't want to get too much into that. I think some major hanky panky went down there. I never believe what the US government says in regards to some of these wild events that occur. Now, how does it relate to sports cards? Number one, shill bidding. Shill bidding. You want to look at some of the things first of all. I saw VVG talk a lot about Charlie Kirk, and then one of his posts, he said like, "Oh well, you could have bought this MAGA hat autographed by Charlie Kirk for under $100, and now it's one of them sold for a ridiculous amount of money." I'm like, dude, have you checked the bid history of some of these items? And I was posting them on IG today, and then he says like, "Oh, this is negative stuff." And then he brought in some reference for Building 7. I'm like, dude, speaking of Building 7, the government lied about Building 7. And the government right now, in my opinion, is covering up some things in this, just like they covered up the JFK assassination. All right? Oswald was most likely a patsy. I do believe the same thing is true with the 22-year-old. But once again, let's look at some of the bid history here. Charlie Kirk, MAGA hat, signed, Turning Point USA, autographed. Who won? A zero review pumper, right? Trying to manipulate other people to buy these at higher prices. That's very interesting. I don't think this one is shilled. It may have some low bid. Some of these may have some low bid people, but it's not, suspicious like four here. Let's look at this. Charlie Kirk's Turning Point 47 Trump hat. You could see over here, zero reviews, second bid. All right. When you tend to see these, that's most likely a shill bidder. All right. You go over here. No, that's the same one. That's 510, 510. Let's see this. 455. Let's see this. Let me go to the original listing here. 455, different one. All right, second highest bid, zero reviews, right? Probably shilled, in my opinion. Okay, I've seen a bunch of them. Let's see what other ones that I saw. This one I don't think was too bad here. There were things that I flagged. A person with one review just like bidding this up. Is that some sort of mega bid? And I will get into the issue of mega bids and revisit that topic later in this video. But yeah, one, you can't even click on it here on eBay. So it's like things like that, dude. It's like the dude just passed away, and it looks like the shill bidders are out in force. So whenever someone passes away, you got to be careful in who you're bidding against. Don't let FOMO, person you like, you don't like, but you're just doing it just for historical preference. Be careful, man. Just be careful. Let's look at a few other things here. So the therapist, aka Mr. Megabit, is back, and you could even research this. Let's do sports card therapist, and you'll probably see a video with sports card lesson. So he came back. People that I talked to did not like the fact that Rob G barely talked about it. I could understand why people would not like it, but I could understand why Rob didn't say anything. He doesn't want to incriminate himself, so he didn't really talk about it. He apologized a little bit, but it wasn't what people were looking for. But with what Rob did, he didn't really do that much compared to some people in this hobby. It was like someone smoking dope and has a misdemeanor charge back in the day. That's how I describe it, because if you look in this hobby, there's like trimmers, there's pumpers, there's dumpers, there's people maybe money laundering. Like you have crazy things going on in this hobby. What Rob G did, putting a megabit and not paying and whatever. Yeah, is that not good? Yeah, it's not good, but it's not the worst. It's nothing compared to some of these other criminals in this hobby. Like trimming cards, man, like taking advantage of that. And, you got all these big wigs, butting up with these trimmers. It's nuts. It's insane. And then a few other things here. Let me go back to Mr. Megabid himself. Let me do sports card therapist. And what is it called? Private sales. AIH Sports, because I did a video on this. And our private sales rigged. I want you to see this video that I was able to compile a few years ago. It was 2 years ago. So waiting for this ad, unfortunately, to end. But in this video, what happened was I talked about how Card Ladder accepted his sales, which were insane. Okay, now listen to this. I'm gonna get into the Card Ladder stuff, but just listen to it. This is insane what he was saying.
I think isn't, but you know, I think the idea that people are creating fake comps on cards, right? That's the same thing as shilling, same thing as shill bidding. That pisses me off because I'm sitting here putting my blood, sweat, and tears into the hobby and I'm doing it 100%. And to think that people are taking shortcuts when, probably a good 90% of us are playing fair, that just doesn't sit right with me.
Doesn't sit right with him. Did it sit right with him when he is doing all these megabits, right? And if you want to know all about the megabit, I did a video a couple of years ago. So just take a look at that. Modest Card Collection busted him. And it was regarding Eli Manning cards he wasn't paying, and he's talking about, yeah, I did a megabit, and he didn't pay, and then he just deleted all of his stuff. Now the thing is, if you're deleting all your stuff, were you engaging in other heinous behavior, aka hanky panky behavior? Someone can, figure out if you were or if you were not. He was doing videos on me. And he was saying, like, I was taking it too far on card porn. Oh, really? I was the only one talking about it, and I was called a psycho conspiracy theorist. I was called everything under the sun. All the people part of the Good Old Boy Network were pointing at me, while they don't say anything about their buddies in the hobby. You know why? Because they have a huge vested interest in this hobby. For some reason, You don't see the same enthusiasm going at these people, once again, engaging in fraudulent activity, hanky panky activity. I don't know why. Could it be cognitive dissonance? Could be. Or they're too heavily invested in the hobby. I think that's part of it as well. So, anyways, Rob G's back. I was also sent some other information about him. They remind me, like, hey, look, Rob G was buying cards like crazy, like 2022, 2021 at the end of the year, and he was underwater. Now he's coming back because some of the cards have gone up, not everything. So he's just trying to sell that right now and trying to be buddy buddy with this guy, sports cards, what is it called? Teacher or whatever the hell that guy's name is. I forgot. He was part of the Wolf Pack. That's another thing too. Wolf Pack. I'm not part of any wolf pack or any group. I do my own thing. I move in a very different way than everyone else. And I guess that's unconventional. So people don't know how to react. So they come after me. It is what it is, though. So it's Sports Card Lessons Podcast. So yeah, it is what it is. So he's back. Probably going to be selling his LeBrons, in my opinion. Probably going to get in a podcast with some of his older buddies, but we shall see. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about all of this. And one last thing, going back to the Charlie Kirk thing. So, VVG was talking about, hey, look, it's negative looking at price, at shill bidding, basically. I'm like, how is looking at prices negative if people are with zero reviews are pumping this up to manipulate others to buy at higher prices? That should be examined. It makes no sense to me. Like, this is what some people were saying to me when Mahomes cards were being shilled like crazy a couple of years ago. That was considered negative. And then some of their friends were saying the same thing I was saying, like, what, 9 months later? They're like, oh, okay, it's okay if he says it. But if AIH Sports talks about it, it's considered negative because I'm not part of the mainstream. So, just a few thoughts there. So, anyways, let me know your thoughts and I'll talk to you later. Bye.